Alright, so this is February 2020, and last month in January we had an outbreak of a serious virus from China, and I thought it'd be pertinent to make a video, an addendum to a video that I had made before on making homemade hand sanitizer using aloe vera. This is what we made last time, but this time we're going to make aloe vera or homemade hand sanitizer out with being antiviral in mind. So I've got a few different essential oils that should work as an antiviral agent that we can use in our hand sanitizer. Now these are no guarantees against contracting or getting any sort of flu or virus or anything like that. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. But it isn't. It is another line of defense, and there's all kinds of research on the use of essential oils in that capacity. So be sure to do your research on that. But for now, I just want to kind of walk through again kind of how we make a natural hand sanitizer, but we're going to use specific essential oil or oils. So what I have here is I have tea tree, and according to my notes, tea tree oil is effective against flu virus within 5 to 10 minutes of exposure. And that was found in a study. So this is tea tree oil essential, 100% tea tree. And then next here we have cinnamon leaf essential oil, and cinnamon leaf is also shows antiviral activity as a liquid. So we have eucalyptus here, essential oil, and eucalyptus also shows antiviral activity as a vapor. So this is eucalyptus. Bergamot is effective against flu viruses as a vapor after just 10 minutes of exposure. And then red thyme. And red thyme is kind of interesting. It's effective against flu viruses as a liquid phase here. So we've got some different essential oils. This is not all of them. There's many others. Rosemary, I understand, is another antiviral essential oil that can be used. So that's just a little bit of information. I'll put a link below to cite my source, as well as some other links and other pertinent information. Again, this is no guarantee that if you use this recipe that you won't contract any sort of flu or influenza or virus or anything. But I do understand that using essential oils in the proper way can be an extra line of defense. So I just want to make sure I put that disclaimer out there. And we're going to begin to go ahead and make a hand sanitizer. So again, I've got aloe vera leaf that you can get mostly from any sort of grocery store. Mostly either if your local one doesn't carry aloe vera leaves, then you might want to try an Asian or other ethnic market. Co-ops usually carry them as well. And let's see here. So I've got vodka here. And you want some 80 proof, something pretty strong. This is just rot gut, the cheap stuff. You could go high end, you could use Sky if you want to, but it's just more expensive hand sanitizer for you. But I just get the cheap stuff. I've got some e-oil here, and e-oil works as a preservative. It's kind of a natural preservative. It keeps oxidation from happening. It's not water soluble, however. And this hand sanitizer, which is what we made roughly last year, it's still fresh, it's still usable, no mold, no nothing. But then again, we've got it's a high percentage of alcohol in here as well. So alcohol is also a preservative, and we used vodka last time. I'll put a link below to the other video as well. And then we've just got some various containers here. I just went to the craft store, and they had these cool little. You make a mason jar into a pump dispenser here. Went on ahead and got also some, I guess this is TSA compliant containers for traveling around with some extra hand sanitizer here. And then we're going to really extract the gel from the aloe and make sure that there's no pulp in our sanitizer. So I've got an old stocking here. Now this is basically pantyhose, and these clean pantyhose or new pantyhose will work. This will help be a very good strainer when we get to that phase. So first thing first, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and extract the gel from the aloe, and then we're going to start mixing everything together. Alright, so we're going to extract the gel from our aloe vera leaf, and again, you can skip this part if you want, if you already know how to do this, but for those who don't, just cut off the thinner end up top here, cut the base a little bit. There's plenty of gel in there. We can get to that later if we want, but the main thing we want to do is get the edge here to expose the gel. We really should be using a cutting board. Okay, that's all sides here. Go to our gel. There's the gel there. Now we can cut these up in smaller chunks here to make it a little bit more manageable, which is what we're going to do. And I'm just going to cut this in half like so, and I'll probably split this down the middle like so, or somewhat down the middle. That. Cut that up like that. So what we want to do next is we want to extract the gel by getting rid of one of the layers of skin. So just kind of cut that out like so. And then we can take a butter knife or a spoon. This stuff gets very, very careful with the blade because this stuff is slimy and slippery. There we go. And you can take your butter knife and extract the gel from the other side, like so. Okay, so I'll just grab that, put that in there. I'll kind of scrape any residue off in here, like so. That's what we want. We want the good stuff here. Slippery, slippery. Grab another piece here. So, and then use our blade or use our butter knife to extract the gel. Make sure no skin is on it. And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these pieces here to get our gel, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we have our gel here, and it's kind of interesting stuff. And so I've got a blender here, so I'm just going to take the gel and I'm going to pour it into the blender, and I'm going to kind of chop it up, really smash it up, basically puree it. Because all we want is the gel. Make sure that's tightly shut down on here. There. Come on, any accidents, because this stuff is messy to clean up. Alright, so turn this on and we're going to puree this. Alright, so there we have it. We're going to go ahead and pour this back into our bowl. Okay, there's that. Okay, now next we're going to strain this. To strain our pulp is nice and frothy, but we want to strain it so we just have just the gel and not any of the pulp. Alright, so we have our gel here, or our pureed aloe gel, and I've got a section of a pair of nylons or pantyhose, and I'm going to just tuck this in here, and we're going to use this as a nice fine mesh strainer because we don't want any pulp in our sanitizer this time around. Let's go ahead and affix this there, and I'm going to pour this in here and make sure all of it gets in there. And then just slowly lift this up and just kind of strain this out like so through our nylons here. And that's just going to leave us with just the gel, which is nice. We might overflow a bit, and that's okay. Making a bit of a mess, but that's alright. There we go. A lot of air because of the frothiness. There we go. Getting to the end of it, that was the pulp. So yeah, as the air bubbles settle down, we'll have a lot of gel in here. Okay, so what we could do is if we have a lot of pulp left, we could do this over and over again just to make sure that we strain out as much of the gel as possible. So this is what we have. We may do another pass because there's some pieces that make it through that I can tell. And then I'm going to do this one more time, and then we'll be able to mix everything else together. So here's our gel, and it's pulp free. There's no pulp in it, no green bits, and this is approximately 3/4 cup. So that one leaf yielded almost exactly 3/4 cup. So what we're going to need for our recipe, though, for this recipe is 1/4 cup. So with the rest of it we can store for later, or I can make another batch so I can share with a friend or something like that. A couple other batches actually. Okay, so now we have our vodka, we've got our essential oil, we've got our gel, and we've got our e-oil for as a preservative here. So essentially we're going to go ahead and mix everything in our jar here. And first thing is we're going to measure off the gel. And so for this recipe we need 1/4 cup of the gel. Could add more if you want, and this time around I may add a little bit more, but if you like to follow strict recipes, then that's what I'm using, at least in the last video. So this is a 1/4 cup. And I'll just add a little bit more, maybe even half of that, so an eighth of a cup. So I'm modifying the recipe a bit for this time around, but there you go. And then for the vodka, we want 3/4 of a cup of vodka. So let's see, that means I don't have a 3/4 cup here on the set, so I'm just do this 4 times, a quarter cup 4 times, or 3 times, excuse me. 4 times will be a full cup. We need 3 times. What we'll do is, that's 1, 2, and 3. 3/4 cup of vodka. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of our e-oil. And you kind of have to, or actually it's a 1/4 teaspoon of our e-oil. So I have to kind of squeeze that in there a little bit. Pop that in there. Again, the e-oil is really interesting because it acts as a preservative. So this should keep. But the vodka also help it keep as well because vodka doesn't go bad. And then we want 10 to 20 cups, 10 to 20 drops, excuse me, of, I'm going to use the cinnamon leaf because it was one of the essential oils that we have that was, that work best as a liquid. So this is a liquid, so we're going to follow that. Plus I like the way it smells. It smells like cinnamon. So I'm just going to plop in 10 to 20 drops. Like that. And then we go ahead and get my lid and we're going to shake this all up. So again, from the craft store, they sell these kind of cool little doodads here where you just, let's see how you take these apart. They come as a component, the separate component here. Then you got your lid fixture and you have your screw, your lug there. And so you just pop that in there, then pop your nozzle on there, and then twist it tight, like so. And then these fit the, not the large ones, but the kind of the medium size and smaller lids for the mason jars, the ball mason jars, for those of you that like to can. So we place this on top first, put the ring around, and screw it on like that. And then we can just give this a good shake, good mix. And there we have it. That's pretty much it. It's really simple. These nozzles work pretty good. There you go. And you've got your antiviral, natural, homemade hand sanitizer. Okay, so we made our antiviral hand sanitizer. This was sort of just a regular hand sanitizer that we made last year. See the video, see the link below. And then here's some containers I got from the department store. Just travel containers, very convenient. Just squeeze some in your hand, just like the stuff that you'd buy. And smells real cinnamony. And hopefully this should be a second line of defense against any cooties that are floating around there out there in the world today. So I hope this helps. Again, make sure you do your own research, check the CDC on current updates on different viruses and different things that are spreading across the world at this time in 2020, to get as much information as you can to protect yourself. Yeah, so I hope this is helpful for you, and good luck.